Greetings and welcome to my channel, hope everyone's doing okay. Before we start, I must thank my friend Tiana for reading few stories for today's episode. If you have hit subscribe and like button, we can start. Enjoy! No one believes. I remember when I was around the age of 4, my family and I lived in the small apartment on the 4th floor, which was pretty high. The apartment was full of stupid people like drug addicts and other low-life criminals. There were no other kids in the unit, so I mainly spent my time playing with toys. One night after my mother turned off the lights for bedtime, the whole family went to sleep. I woke up in the middle of the night around 2 a.m. I was pretty thirsty, so I was going to grab a cup of water from the kitchen, but as I was pulling off my blanket, I heard noises coming from the outside of the house. Being a stupid toddler, I didn't think anything of it, so I got up and walked out of my room. The moon was lighting up the room through the open sliding door to the veranda, but then I came to terrifying realization that the sliding door was supposed to be closed. I knew this because I was the one who closed it before bed. But at that moment I heard noises again, and they were coming from the kitchen. I put 2 and 2 together and realized that someone was in my house. I tried to tiptoeing to my parents' room, but I looked behind me, and what I saw scared me. It was a man in a costume. He looked at me and grabbed me. He was pulling my hair and putting his hand on my mouth, but I broke out of his grip and ran to my mother's room. I was too scared to say anything. The next morning I told my mother everything, but she told me it was just all a wild nightmare. I tried to tell my dad, but he said the same. Only I know what happened, but no one believes me. I will never forget the sack he wore over his head, and the thing that's still bothering me is how he did manage to get to the 4th floor. The door was locked and so were the windows. So did he climb the entire building? And if he did, why me?
I saw a ghost in my bedroom. Just to let readers know, I'm a female. It was Thursday and I had an alarm for 6 a.m. because I had school. I woke up to my alarm blasting in my ear. I grabbed my phone and turned the alarm off. I was awake now and was glued to a bed, so I decided to go on Instagram. That's when I saw it. Someone standing 1 foot away from me. My vision was a bit blurry, but I could see what she was wearing. She had a long hair and a nightgown with the flowers. Her legs were so pale. She was in front of my brother's bed, moving side to side gently while looking at me. I was paralyzed. I couldn't move. I went under my covers and started rubbing my eyes, and when I accidentally scratched myself, that's when I realized I wasn't dreaming. I pulled my covers off and she was still there. All I could do was call for my brother's name. For my brother's privacy, well, just call him Jake. I whispered while crying, "Jake, use your flashlight." I said this about 5 times while crying louder. He heard me on the 6th time and he woke up and grabbed his flashlight. That's when she vanished and my dog woke up. I was still scared and crying. I told my brother what happened and I still went to school. When I came back, I told my mom, and what she told me still chills me to the bones. She said a woman had died in our house. She used to live here with her son. When she died, her son moved away and my mom rented this house. I'm no longer comfortable being in this house.
Scratching at the door. About 6 years ago, when my cousin, we'll call him James, was 15 and I was 7, our parents left us to go to the wedding. They trusted him enough to babysit me for a while so they could get to the wedding in time. It was more of the parents' friends, so we didn't really have to come, and it seems cheaper to leave us at home. It was sometime in fall, maybe the first week or so of November. He and I were playing games when there was scratching at the door. It was loud and animal-like. Something or someone wanted to get in. James has gotten up and walked over to the door to look at who it was, only to have the door kicked. It was like something wanted to break the door down. James has started to get nervous and he looked at me. He was scared, and today I still don't know why. He was completely silent and he quickly ushered me upstairs. It was only around 7, but it was dark and he insisted that it was my bedtime. He tucked me into my bed and went back downstairs. This was my aunt and uncle's house, and they were hunters. They had a small amount of guns, and I could tell that when James went downstairs again, he went to grab one of the guns. I started to hear a loud shuffling outside in the leaves, and I called for him to come upstairs. He was up and next to my bed in less than a second with a gun in hand. I told him about what I was hearing outside and how I was scared. He looked outside and said there was nothing there. By then, the scratching and kicking at the door has stopped, but I was still scared by someone trying to get in and hurt us. James stayed in my room and insisted we would be okay. I fell asleep, and from what I know, so did he. At around midnight, the shuffling again, and it was in the house. I immediately started to cry, and that woke James up really fast. He got up and walked out of the room and stood at the top of the stairs. Seconds later, I heard him shoot something and scream. He ran right back into the room and blocked the door with everything he could find. I was still bailing my eyes out and barely registering what was going on. James sat on my bed next to me and tried to comfort me, but I was having none of it. I kept wailing at the top of my lungs. A minute or so later, there was scratching at the bedroom door. James grabbed his phone and called the police, with me now trying to push him so he's in front of me. I wanted to be as far from whatever that was. The scratching continued, and it seems like an hour till the police arrived. The sirens were the thing that scared whatever the thing was. I don't remember much from what happened, and James only ever tells it when I'm not around. This is all I got, really.
My stalker story. This happened last year, when I was 15. Me and my friends, I call her Kate, were messing around in the neighborhood one day. We were on the side of the road playing around with sparkles and other stuff like that. Suddenly, Kate said to turn around and look behind me. When I looked at the home behind us, I saw someone looking through the window. I couldn't really tell what he looked like, so I just ignored it and turned around. A few minutes later, Kate said to look again. I did, but this time there was a woman with him at the window. They were just staring at us, and I began to feel uneasy. But again, I turned around and ignored them. As the sun went down, I walked back to my house, which was across the street, and Kate went to hers, which was a few blocks away. A couple of hours later, at around 10, my phone lights up. I was watching Orange is the New Black, so at first I ignored it. Then I got another alert, so I picked up my phone and looked at the screen. My two alerts were from Snapchat. Someone added me and their username was something like Jaden with a few numbers after it, and then they sent me a picture. I waited until the episode was over to open it. It was a black screen with a message saying, "Hey." I ignored that message. Around 6-7 minutes later, I got another Snapchat for the same guy and the same time. It was a black screen saying, "Why didn't you answer?" Again, I ignored the snap and went back to Netflix. When my phone buzzed again, I didn't look at it. Through the episode, I got around 4 more alerts, which I ignored. Then I fell asleep. When I woke up the next morning, I had 11 alerts. Most of them were black screens saying, "Why aren't you answering?" or "I know you're awake, answer me." But the last one freaked me out. It was a picture of my house, taken from across the street, with the caption, "Answer me now." I was stupid, so I didn't screenshot the picture, but I did block him. I didn't hear anything for a few days, but then I got another alert that someone added me. It was the same username as before, but with a 1 after it. Then I got sent multiple snaps. I didn't open any of them because I was in class. 4 hours later, I checked my Snapchat. All the pictures he sent me were pictures of me. Some were during lunch and some were when I was walking home from school. Again, I blocked the user and I didn't get any screenshots. Last night I got a snap of my window, again taken from across the street and from the same user, but this time with a 2 after it. I told my dad and he freaked out and called the police. When they arrived, I told them everything, but they couldn't do anything since I didn't get any screenshots. I don't know what to do. Update. I deleted Snapchat, but he has found me on other social medias. I've blocked him on everything and I'm thinking about deleting everything.
The woman in the white dress. This happened just yesterday, so it's fresh in my mind. I'm not quite sure what to think of it because it's just so bizarre and unbelievable. I might have just been sleep deprived. So, last night at maybe 11 a.m. I was walking around my block. My town is relatively safe, so I didn't feel in danger, plus it was pretty night. I had been walking around for 5 minutes when a pale woman with blonde hair and white dress caught my eye from across the street. She was about my height and looked to be around my age. I didn't actually pay attention to her after I first noticed her. While I circled the block again, she was on the same street, a couple feet in front of me. She was standing on the curb staring at the cars passing by. It was a main road, so even that late people were still driving on it. I said hello to her and she turned to gaze to me. I couldn't see her face super well, but from what I think I saw, she had no pupils or colors in her eyes. She just stared at me. After a while, I asked her if she was okay. She didn't respond again and simply pointed at the road. I was really confused and I didn't understand. Right as a red car started coming down the road, she stepped in the road. The car slammed into her and it was a bloody mess. The driver immediately stopped and jumped out. It was a man in his mid-20s. We both spoke about it, freaking out. He called the police and I went around the car to see the state of the girl. Once I circled around the car, she was gone. Not gone as in dead, gone and she just wasn't there. The blood on the road was gone too, but not gone from his car. After the police arrived, they concluded it was some big hoax of a kid who didn't know what they were talking about, and some guy who went along with it. The blood on the truck was brought to investigation, only to be found as paint. Nothing else was put up about it. I'm still not sure if what happened was real. It felt so real, but I don't believe in the paranormal. I don't know what it was. If it just was a dream or if it was a real. I remember it like it was. I feel like I can't leave the house now. I don't understand anything now and I kind of feel like I'm going crazy. Has anyone else experienced something like this? Thank you guys for stopping by. Please remember to subscribe, comment and hit the like button. That would mean a lot to me. Thank you, stay safe and I'll see you soon.